New Yorker piece just released, I believe, yesterday or earlier this week. He thinks that he is the strongest Democrat to go against Donald Trump because he's the only one who has beat him before. Do you think he's the strongest Democrat?
Well, who knows? I mean, it's going to be Biden, so there's no any point in speculating about who else might, woulda, coulda, shoulda, as they say. He is going to be the candidate. I saw an article this morning in Semaphore, which is sort of an inside the Beltway, high end gossip column, but it's great. It's good stuff. They're very, very good reporters and writers there. And I think what Biden wants to be is unchained. I think his staff is trying to make him be as presidential as possible. And Biden just wants to get in and mix it up with Trump. And I think that's a really good idea because Trump has got a pretty fragile ego. And I think when Biden starts going after him about being a crook, I think that's going to be incredibly helpful.
Polls against the two in a head-to-head matchup between Trump and Biden are very close, really breakneck. But according to a recent Harris X Forbes poll, Trump is beating Biden by 4 points. As a Democrat, does that scare you?
No, I mean, it scares me for the future of the country because I think if Trump gets elected, the country is over. We're not going to be the leading power. He's already said that Russia can do whatever the hell they want in Europe. I mean, I find that to be one of the most irresponsible things any American president could have ever said. It's just shocking. He has no understanding of what he's doing. And he doesn't care because it's not about being a good president. It's about being the person people are always talking about. And that's his illness. I think there's a long way between now and the election, and I don't put too much stock in polls. I wish Biden were polling better because I think he deserves to be polling better. Ironically, a lot of the people who are voting for Trump are benefiting because of Biden's economy. Especially, he's put tons and tons of jobs in the most rural parts of America, including high-tech chip producers, and revitalized the automobile industry. And this is a guy who cares about blue-collar voters, and the blue-collar voters are saying, well, no, we're voting for Trump. I mean, basically what Trump is totally unsuccessful in business and unsuccessful in politics, but where he's really successful is selling to the American people. And his pitch is, none of this is your fault. And so when white rural voters who have really struggled in the last few decades are angry, which is understandable, Trump says it's a little Hitlerian. Trump says, "Oh, it's all the black people, and it's the gay people, and it's the women." There's all this anti-abortion stuff that's coming out of the Republican Party. It's not because they're really against abortion. It's because it gives women power over their own bodies. They don't like that, and that's not the way it used to be. So the real problem here is that the economic benefits, which will kick in for sure, even stronger than they are now, before the election, is not enough because the Republican platform can basically be signed up, be stated as two words. One is hate and the other is rage. And it's very, very hard to make any kind of rational progress against that.
To your point, then, do you believe that Republicans are better and winning at messaging over Democrats? Because you're saying Biden deserves to be polling better. Immigration and economy, as we know, are the top issues facing voters. And according to a Harris X Forbes poll, more voters think that Trump would be better suited handling those issues than Biden.
There's no evidence of that at all. Trump ran up the largest deficit in the history of the country. And Trump has done nothing. Trump stopped the bipartisan immigration bill. So don't tell me that Trump's going to be better on immigration.
I'm not saying that. Voters are
no,
saying
I know
that.
you're not.
How much does voter sentiment matter? Because optics really are everything because they're the ones going to the polls.
Right. But fortunately, we have 6 or 8 months before the election, so to turn that around.
And how do Democrats turn that around? How do they say, hey, this is really Biden's economy. You're doing, because the sentiment is, hey, my wallet hurts. Hey, it's hard to put groceries on the table. How do they turn that messaging around?
Well, first of all, the economy has to continue to keep doing better. Secondly, there's a fundamental structure problem. There was a very well-known writer in Germany many, many years ago that said that the politics is nothing but a substitute for war. And the Republicans understand that. They are a top-down organization that are very well organized and really almost, they do this with military discipline. The trouble is it makes it impossible for them to govern in a democracy, as Trump showed, because he was a ridiculous figure in the presidency. The Democrats are incredibly disorganized and intellectual and they can govern well because they have good ideas and they can get things done, but they are awful at campaigning because they're not disciplined and everyone thinks they should be able to say what they want and they don't come together and work terribly well together. They're going to have to learn to change that, and before it's too late. As Hitler rose to power with his very disciplined cadre of people, there were some very courageous liberal parties, and eventually they all ended up in concentration camps. And so, I don't hold out a lot of hope for the United States of America if we elect Trump. I think we'll be gone on the world stage. I think that's going to lead to huge inflation because we won't be the world's currency reference anymore. And I also think that it's not going to happen immediately, but it will happen much more quickly than people think it will. Our trading relationships are going to be disrupted because Putin's going to start putting pressure on Russia, and Europe won't be able to sustain that pressure without us. And Trump's made it pretty clear that he doesn't care. Stuff is connected here. And I think that's what the Democrats understand that the Republicans don't. The Republicans are all about power, and that's all they care about. And as long as they're in power, they really don't care what they have to say to get it in power. And that's the danger we have here.